So if we look at the tail of the tape, 32, 31, the age is the same, 6'4" and 6'3". Look at Field's record, 10, 6 and 1, the more experienced. Jacquelin, 6'2" and 0. Two men really with something to prove on the biggest stage. Who will prove it tonight? Let's go to Buddy Johnson, our MC, to find out.
Dublin, Ireland, we are live across the world. This is the co-main event of the evening. 3 Arena, Dublin, are you ready? We are set for 3 5-minute rounds in the professional middleweight division. This bout is sponsored by Sports Direct and SportsDirect.com. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, an MMA fighter standing 6 feet 3 inches tall and weighing in at 183 pounds. He has a record of 6 wins, 4 losses, and 0 draws, with 5 of those wins by submission. Representing Boxing Squad from Nice, France, Christopher Jacquelin! And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, an MMA fighter standing 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighing in at 185.6 pounds. An impressive record of 10 wins, 6 losses, and 0 draws. Representing SPG Ireland from Dublin, Ireland, the Housewives choice, Chris Fields! And the action begins with referee in charge, Mark Winner.
Okay, gentlemen, I've spoken to you in the dressing room. You both understand what I need from you, okay? Touch gloves if you want to do it. Let's go back and do this.
So Chris, when Chris Fields was announced, did you hear that from the 3 Arena?
Malcolm, the atmosphere is through the roof here tonight in Dublin. The entire nation out in force to support Chris Fields. And we know that Fields believes he's got new tricks up his sleeve, but Jacquelin anticipating a repeat formula of a first-round finish.
Well, when he got those boos, he just looked at the crowd and put his fingers in his ears to say, it doesn't bother me. He's been supremely cool all the way through this.
Such self-belief in his abilities, Christopher Jacquelin. But we know that Chris Fields also has big confidence. He said, look, I've been through a few training camps leading to this fight. I've improved. I've been rolling, sparring the best guys in the world. I will not be surprised by Jacquelin.
Oh, and he went to take Jacquelin down there he went for the double leg, didn't quite get it, but again, something David Hay said earlier, with such a huge following at home, it can work one of 2 ways for you.
And Fields doing a great job of tying up Jacquelin in the clinch, pushing him up against the edge of the ring here. And you can see those knees possibly working towards a takedown, trying to reap the outside knee of Christopher Jacquelin.
And you also said he's very aware of Jacquelin's skills on the grounds. He said it doesn't bother him.
Absolutely, and look, this guy's training with Gunnar Nelson, who's arguably one of the very best grapplers in MMA, period. That's gonna give you confidence.
Chris, listen to this for Fields.
Feels like a football stadium in this arena, Malcolm. And training under John Kavanagh, one of the very best grappler coaches in MMA. I mean, that's Ireland's first black belt there in your corner.
Well, you talk about a football stadium, Dublin and in the All-Ireland football final at Croke Park tomorrow, so it's a big time.
And Jacquelin doing a good job of recovering one butterfly hook with his right leg and opting to play open guard here up against the cage.
Well, this is the one thing I want to pick you up on. You said that he is so dangerous off his back. Chris will be aware of this, though, surely.
Yeah, he's posturing very nicely here, staying top heavy, trying to pass standing, which I would recommend given the pedigree of Jacquelin. That guy has...
Oh, right hand lands from Fields as Jacquelin got up.
And he gets clipped. Maybe a little bit wobbly there, but still looking pretty loose as Jacquelin. Much better sprawl. Look at the double underhooks there from Christopher Jacquelin. Good defense from the Frenchman, Malcolm.
Big knee, though, right knee there from Chris Fields to the midsection of his opponent, and he made a statement, as we saw him on the video. You're going to have to take me out in a body bag to lose this one.
And the Irish are making this one a dogfight, but Jacquelin escaping out the back door, almost jumped on his back there. Nice defense from Chris Fields. I like the way he figure fours there. He may drop for Kimura, but Jacquelin turning around very nicely to counter. Head outside single, gable grip, perfectly there and protecting his face in doing so.
And from the start, Jacquelin needs these moments because it's been all Fields pressuring him.
And nice outside trip from Jacquelin. Look at the way he flips over and passes off that. But an interesting position here. A little bit of a 50-50 position from these two. We're gonna see how the scramble ensues. And watch Jacquelin go for his back off this. And Fields looking for a knee bar. Wow!
Jacquelin immediately aware though, but what transitions from both men and already heating up, Chris.
Phenomenal movement here in this middleweight affair. Fields looking to go for that Kimura. I like how he's continually held onto that grip throughout all scrambles. Whether it was standing, whether it was resisting the body lock, whether it was in the transitions to and from the mat, he's always going for that figure four control. And that makes Jacquelin respond. Look at this, right to the armbar.
Yes, Jacquelin under pressure from the opening here. We're into the last minute and a half, and Chris Fields has really taken it to his French opponent, Chris.
And Jacquelin doing a good job of framing his arm inside his right knee. That's going to keep that arm out of jeopardy and from being hyperextended. I love this combination. Looking for the Kimuras, Chris Fields. The crowd showing a roar of appreciation, Malcolm.
Great movement there from Jacquelin, but the crowd sensed something here from Fields.
And to the armbar is the Dubliner. A lot of time to work with here, 60 seconds to go.
The crowd, Chris, they know that something special could be happening here for their hometown favorite.
And the Frenchman trying to counter here and save his arm, but that looks pretty deep, Malk. Oh, there we go, much better. That arm out of jeopardy with the elbow beyond the hip.
Well,
and now it's Jacquelin on the
minute,
offensive.
Chris.
Wow, look at the way he dives on his back. That is just the most precarious thing about this matchup because Fields is engaging him on home territory. It's on the ground where Jacquelin might have been the most dangerous.
And here's where Fields got the chance to say, I'm going to rain those elbows down on you. Here's the opportunity.
Open guard for the Frenchman, using those butterfly hooks. And Fields standing up, I like that. He's got to watch for the up kick, but it's a lot better position than sitting in that guy's guard. That can be death, as we know.
But Chris, with under 13 seconds left, going into the last 10 seconds, a big round you feel for the hometown favorite.
Phenomenal round for Chris Fields, and he was so motivated coming into this bout. He said, look, I am fighting the best I have ever been. I have new skills, and I know that I can make this happen in Dublin, and the crowd showing their support.
And they know what they've seen it. Now, Chris, if we look at it, two big submission attempts from Chris Fields.
Yeah, big time. You notice at multiple points, he had his opponent in dire jeopardy. And look at that Kimura grip that I was talking about, that figure four. That made Fields very concerned. Look at the way he rolls him over with that scramble. And this is where he stepped his right leg over and was looking to hit that Kimura and ultimately swept him. Jacquelin did a good job of tucking his head and rolling out of that.
But it was the armbar that impressed you, and Jacquelin got out of it.
And that was the closest he was to finishing that fight. He used that Kimura to sweep and then go into spider's web here. Again, maintaining that figure four grip. Just sensational grappling from Chris Fields. So impressive.
And a big first round for the local hero.
Huge first round. Cannot wait to see what happens.
So here we are, BAMMA 22, the co-main event at the 3 Arena. And if a crowd is ever getting behind their man, it's this Dublin crowd here tonight, Chris.
Look, the Frenchman is taking on an entire nation in Chris Fields. This has got to be one of the loudest crowds I've ever heard in my entire life, Malcolm.
Now, we've seen the skills of Jacquelin in escaping those submission attempts. Has Chris Fields got to be careful? He said, I'm going to rain the elbows down. But as you said, this man is so good off his back. He's got to focus the whole time, surely.
I'd like to see those leg kicks from Fields that we often see, or the knees. He's got so much power, and if he can chop away Fields' base, he might be able to slow him down and then turn things around. But I think that was a huge round, and he knows it. He's got to come back and make an exclamation mark at round two.
That's right, and he looks for it. Wild right hook. Bit of an arm punch there. Fields replies with the left hand, then the chopping right leg kick. And the crowd starting to bubble again as he does this, and he does it again. Jacquelin catches it, but Fields is really sharp tonight, Chris.
I think he's drained Christopher Jacquelin, and you know, we've seen big first round finishes from the French fighter. And I think that the Irishman has begged to ask questions thus far.
And again, in that first, immediately in the clinch, the knee comes in from Chris Fields, and I think you're right. He's asked questions, and as it goes on, Fields does look strong. And again, another knee immediately.
Look, Fields has forced this one into a fight in a phone booth. It's all been at close range, and that's a pretty scary guy to be in there with the kind of power he has, but Chris is performing beautifully. Such a brilliant game plan.
And again, if you're watching it, when you're watching at home here, 6'4" and 6'3" at this weight.
These guys are monstrous, and they made the weight so well yesterday. I mean, they were both under, so that just shows the level of strength and conditioning and cardio, and most importantly, diet and weight cut.
And there goes that knee again, and even in this clinch, do you feel that Fields is bossing it? Is he making a statement to Jacquelin?
Well, he's defending right now the pressure of Jacquelin. He's got his back up against the cage. He needs to turn things around. That's much better. A little bit of a knee battle. This is a 50-50 position, though, with both fighters.
And then the hook from Fields.
Yeah, he used that inside trip beautifully, but winds up in the full guard of Christopher Jacquelin. See what Jacquelin can do with this. This has generally been his bread and butter, Malcolm.
I was going to say, Chris, you said this is where he's often reversed to become into this position.
Look, he's got ridiculous submission offense. And you can hear John Kavanagh giving great instructions right in front of Fields there to stand up, posture up, keep the pressure down on the shoulders of Christopher Jacquelin and disallow that movement. He's got him up against the cage, so it's going to be a great position to control him here, Malcolm.
Especially, as you said, you're getting that left arm in, because Chris will want to do, as he said, he will want to chop those elbows down, didn't he? He was very emphatic about that. He's going to taste my elbows to his face.
But he's got to keep literally 2 arms in or no arms in, because if 1 arm's in, we're going to see that triangle.
Well, when you said Jacquelin's fighting a whole nation, as you said, it's like a football chant here for him.
What an advantage, though, and Fields taking that momentum, feeding that confidence into his game plan, and he's nearly passed. He's moving from half guard here, but a great recovery from the Frenchman now to an open guard. A lot of movement going on here, a big battle for position, Malcolm.
Picking up on something you said earlier, is there signs of fatigue from Jacquelin?
You know, he's putting a pace on him that Jacquelin doesn't seem to be able to keep up with. A lot of times when you see a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist like Christopher Jacquelin, their guard is so active, they constantly move positions. Fields really hasn't been in too much danger thus far.
And as you said, when he's putting him under pressure, this is a heavy man to keep coming down on you like this.
And you can see the way that Jacquelin's trying to tie his arms up and thrust up, move his legs, but Fields is having none of it. He's maintaining top pressure, and he's landing good little strikes from close guard.
Now again, it's hard to strike back from your back like that, and you can hear the crowd respond as Fields postures up once more. We're inside the last minute and a half, and this has been 2 such solid rounds for the local favorite here.
Chris Fields is putting on a show tonight here in the 3 Arena. He's not backing off. He's totally charging down one of the most scary guys on the European circuit. So I am just so baffled by the way that Fields has been eager to even engage him on the ground. This is a real feather in his cap to engage a guy like this.
Yes, and as you said, he's been so good at doing it. We're inside the last minute. And picking up on what you said earlier about Jacquelin so good off his back, there hasn't been the movement there, has there? There hasn't been the skill that, well, that's the wrong thing to say, but you know what I'm saying? It looks like he really has drained his man.
Yeah, and you know, it's that anti-jiu-jitsu that we talk about in MMA. You take a black belt, you punch him.
Oh, there's the first elbow, Chris. Sorry to interrupt you there, but it came down and the crowd responded.
You hit him twice, he's a purple belt. 3 times, he's a blue belt. And I'm really impressed with the grinding pace that Fields has set here. And just a clinical, surgical approach in dissecting his opponent in Christopher Jacquelin.
That's right, 3 elbows landed cleanly. Jacquelin now going for the left arm.
And this is the best attempt for Christopher Jacquelin thus far in that halfway position, trying to lock up that figure 4. Wow, that looks deep, Malcolm.
He's got 10 seconds in which to do it. He's got just 10 seconds, Cam.
Wow,
He's
that's
tapped. 10 seconds to go, and Fields has tapped. Everything in his favor, and then Jacquelin turns it around.
Unbelievable, and we were waiting for the Frenchman to pull the trigger here in BAMMA. We knew Fields was prepared. He was executing the game plan to a T, but submission fighting is the ultimate equalizer in mixed martial arts, and further evidence here in BAMMA 22 in Dublin tonight.
He was cut, he was under pressure, he had 10 seconds left, and he brings out the sub from nowhere.
And he was eating elbow after elbow, but basic stuff wins, fundamentals. Look at the way he stuffed Fields' right arm, controlled the head, controlled the posture, pulled him in, hit that halfway position, and then slowly cinched up that triangle and hooking Fields' leg to keep him down inside. Textbook jiu-jitsu.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout ended 4 minutes, 55 seconds of the 2nd round. Your winner by triangle choke in the blue corner, Christopher